In this video, I'm going to show you how to get almost perfect sleep most nights. I saw this video that Brian Johnson made about his top 1% sleep routine. And I love Brian, and his routine isn't exactly super realistic for most people. I get about 80% of the results that Brian gets without having to stop eating at 11 a.m., going to bed super early, or living an extremely rigid life. And I also get these results while having a social life, going out, and running a business. When you first get into this stuff, it's really easy to get extremely obsessed with optimizing everything and making sure that everything is perfect. Over time, I realized that being too rigid actually makes you really fragile. So it's really important to have strong habits loosely held. That way you can train your system to be flexible. And it's not about getting perfect sleep every single night. It's about having the mindset and the skill set to be able to get incredible sleep on demand. So my evening routine starts with an early dinner. So I preferably like to eat between the hours of 4:30 and 6:30. Now, if things are running late or I wanted to go to a workout class or I have some type of event that I want to go to and I'm not able to eat that early, then if I eat at 7 or 7:30, it's all good. I don't freak out about it. Or if for whatever reason I do end up eating later, I just end up moving my whole schedule back so I can give my body time to digest. This early dinner is one of the most important things that I do for my sleep, because when you eat, it increases your core body temperature. It also raises your blood sugar, and creating that space in between when I eat and when I go to bed allows for my blood sugar to come down and my core body temperature to drop as well. And I'm finished digesting my food by the time I go to sleep. The other reason why this is so important is because there's this system in our brain called the glymphatic system, and it's like the lymphatic system just up here in your brain. And so that system is clearing out waste and toxins from your brain. So one of the biggest discoveries that I had when I started to improve my sleep is the further I move my dinner earlier, the more refreshed and awake and alert that I felt upon waking. And in every meal, I'm going to be eating lots of protein and fiber, and this is going to help with blood sugar, which in turn will then impact my sleep. So on that point about blood sugar, after dinner, I'll go for anything from like a 10-minute to a 90-minute walk, depending on how much time I have, how much I've moved that day, and how many carbs I've eaten. And this is also a really good opportunity for me to connect with a friend. So usually I'll hit someone up and we'll go for a walk together and we can watch the sunrise as it comes down on the horizon. And this is great too for training into the circadian rhythm. It's signaling to your body and your mind that, hey, it's time to start getting ready to wind down. Depending on the day, I might come home and get some work done, or I might go hit the sauna. I just make sure to do that before 7:30. If I sauna too late, then it kind of affects my sleep. So I try to just get that in between 6 to 7 o'clock. At 8:30, all the lights in the house shift to red. We use the Philips Hue bulbs inside of the house. And that way it kind of also acting as a signal to everyone in the home, like, hey, it's the evening. It's time to start winding down and let's get ready for bed. Also, the lights in the house that are not red will be turned off because they emit blue light, and blue light will stop the production of melatonin. It basically tricks your brain into thinking that you're still awake. So getting these Philips Hue bulbs and setting it up on an automation is such an incredibly powerful environmental hack to help get you ready for sleep. And let's say you went out to an event or a party, and then when you return home, everything's red, so you're not continuing to get stimulated when you know you need to start getting ready for sleep. I find that having these red lights is super relaxing, and it makes the evening something I can like look forward to. People come stay at the house all the time and they always tell me, I don't know why, but I sleep so much better at your house. And I think it has a lot to do with how we've set up the environment. Right around this time, our Google Nest, which is our thermostat, is also going to start turning on the AC to get us to a temperature of around 68 to 69 degrees. And having this cool temperature in the home helps get you ready for sleep, but also helps you stay asleep throughout the night. So by 9 p.m., I'm basically shutting everything down. I'm changing the screen on my phone to a red screen, and I'm gonna start getting ready for my wind down routine. The first thing that I do is I take a cool shower, not a cold shower, not a hot shower. And the reason why I do this is because there was a time when I was tracking my blood sugar, and every time I would take a hot shower, I would watch my blood sugar climb. And every time I took a cool or cold shower, I would watch my blood sugar come down. So lots of people will say that you should take a hot shower before bed because then when you get out, it cools your core body temperature. While this might be verified by the scientific literature, in my own anecdotal experience, I've seen quite the opposite effect. So I encourage people to run the experiment and try taking a cool shower before bed and see what what the impact is, not only on your deep sleep, but also on your HRV. In the beginning, your HRV might go down a little bit, but after some time, a few weeks, you're gonna watch it come up. And my belief is that you don't want the shower to be super cold where it wakes you up and you get that like dopamine rush. We just want it to be cool enough where it's slightly uncomfortable. And I learned this pretty early on in my sleep optimization journey, and I've now tested it with thousands of people who went through the Sleep Advantage course and have also wrote me back and told me the results that they've been experiencing. And if you want to go check out the course, I'll put a link in the description in the first comment. So when I come down from my shower, I'll take my supplements, and the supplements that I am currently using that I'm loving is number one, MagTech from Natural Stacks, which has 3 different types of magnesium: magnesium threonate, magnesium taurate, and magnesium glycinate. I've talked about them a lot on the channel. I've done a bunch of videos about them. The reason why I use them is because they third-party test every single batch, and they have an open source transparency policy where you can know exactly where they're sourcing their ingredients from. So they're totally an open book. That is completely unheard of in the supplement space, and I'm just a huge fan of the company in general. They make really, really high quality supplements. Recently, I also added in their Apigenin product. So I'm stacking MagTech with Apigenin. MagTech has the magnesium glycinate, which is the best for sleep. But then if you add in a little bit extra glycine with this Apigenin, I found that it's like lights out. And not only is it like you're falling asleep super quickly, especially because of the glycine, but it's also like the quality of the sleep. It's really good. And right now, this is my favorite mixture and blend of any supplement combination that I've ever used. So after I take my supplements, I'm gonna put on some blue light blocking glasses, and the ones that I use are from Raw Optics, which to my understanding have the most powerful lenses for blocking as much blue light as possible. Then I'll lie down on the yoga mat and I'll either listen to an audiobook or I'll turn on a show and I'll do some myofascial release or something called Dojo. Dojo is a mind-body practice where you're systematically going through your muscles and squeezing them very gently. And it was created by my friend Skip Kelly. And he has a Spotify playlist where you can listen to these guided tracks. And I'll put a link for that down below. They're totally free. Highly, highly recommend you check this out. Basically, what happens when you do this practice is it lowers your brainwave state. It also relaxes the nervous system and you really get present with your body. And so in my evening routine, what I'm trying to accomplish is to go from a high beta brainwave state to a much lower brainwave state where I'm much closer to a sleep mode. I don't want to be thinking. I don't want to be problem solving. I want to be downshifting and down regulating. And this practice really, really helps with that. And then after doing some dojo, I'll meditate for 10 minutes. And I specifically do the meditation also to just relax everything. I'm not focused on anything except how can I relax my musculoskeletal system and how can I relax my mind. So I'm just really loosening everything and letting go. And what I found is when I do that, I don't have any stiffness or tightness in my body when I'm going to lay in the bed. So I'm completely relaxed as I'm lying down. And if I have a partner over, then I'll probably skip some of this stuff and just spend time with them. And that sort of becomes the wind down routine. And I just want to share like contextually how this actually looks. And depending on the night, this might be a 10-minute thing or a 20-minute thing, or even sometimes an hour thing or an hour and a half. It just depends on if I decide to go out or go to an event. Like last night, I came home at 10:30. I did a quick little micro routine, 10-15 minutes, and then I was in bed by 11. And something to note is that I have this flexibility of I could do this routine at 9:30, 10 o'clock and be in bed by 10:30, or I could do this routine at 10:45 and be in bed by 11, and I can still get the same level of sleep. The reason why this is so important is because I actually now really look forward to my evening routine. It's one of my favorite parts of the day, and I've really fallen in love with these practices, and I get so much value and benefit out of reconnecting with myself in the evening. It has become sort of a sacred time for me, and even if it's just for a few minutes. So when I get into the bedroom, everything of course is red and super relaxing. I try to keep my room pretty minimal and clean to the best of my ability, and it's just a nice environment to walk into that's cool. It's dark, I have the blackout shades, and on my bed I have the 8 Sleep mattress cover, which is kind of like a cooling topper that is on an automation that will cool to my preferred temperature based on what I want and how warm or hot or cold it is in the environment. And then it changes temperatures throughout the night, and I use it also as my alarm, so it gently vibrates as it wakes me up. And when I get into bed, I'm gonna put my phone on airplane mode, and then I'm gonna play an audiobook on a sleep timer for 15 minutes. And the types of books I listen to while I fall asleep are normally biographies or autobiographies where I can kind of get lost in the story and my mind can just be occupied by whatever's happening in the story. So I'll tape my mouth with some medical tape or a band-aid, and then I'll do the 4-7-8 breathwork technique, which is also called the military method. And this breathwork technique was developed so that pilots in the Air Force could basically fall asleep on command. I think I've now been able to train myself to be able to fall asleep within 3 to 5 minutes usually. If I decide that I want to fall asleep, I just start doing the breathwork dark and then I'll fall asleep pretty fast. But with everything that we've done, it's like falling asleep really isn't that hard. And then I'll sleep anywhere from 7 to 9 hours completely undisturbed most nights. But here's the thing, you could do all the things that I talk about in this video and you still won't get the same results that I do because of this one thing. And this is the thing that overrides everything else. And it's your beliefs, your mindset, and your identity around sleep. And when you can cultivate a relationship with sleep that's sacred, and you believe about yourself that you are the type of person who gets good sleep everywhere you go, and it's so easy for you to get such good sleep, and people around you get better sleep when they're in contact with you, then it becomes effortless to get this level of sleep consistently all the time, because then your behavior is just following the identity that you already prescribed for yourself. And so if we can hold these beliefs about ourselves and about sleep and our relationship to it, then all this stuff, honestly, it's nice and it works and it helps and maybe not necessary. And to be honest, I don't know if this sounds like a lot for you, but it's really actually quite simple for me and I don't even think about it. But maybe that's just because I've been doing it for so long. All I know is if you want to completely transform your sleep, all it takes is a decision. I hope you found this video helpful and I know you're going to like this video right here. So go ahead and watch that video and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and be well.